Let's see what you got. I need to focus in. The less time this guy's on screen, the happier I'll be. What if he's like a... Man, we haven't heard his tragic backstory yet, bro. That's all it is, bro. We're gonna go back to the investigation.
I'm sorry, I was having a bad day. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. Seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note?
Okay. I mean, suicide note.
Yes, he had his look on his face. Man's face inscrutable as a quadratic equation, end quote.
It's a really cruddy quote. God. Suicide, oh, poor Mr. Misham. That means Vera's innocent. Yippee! Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Well, if you want to get the word out. Okay, alright, this should be easy. But we could hear all the witty and fun dialogue. Yeah, I'm good on that. We see directly what it is. It is, in fact, not a suicide note. That doesn't help our case. Crud. Should have thought that one over a little more. Oh, God. Trucy, help me. Do you think Mr. Misham was writing a suicide note? If he was, I'd solve the case in a jiffy. Kind of makes me wonder about the letter. If only we had it. You know, wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. Misham was at his desk. You don't say. What a thing to do. Was there anyone at the studio other than Mr. Misham?
Mom's daughter Vera, of course.
Has anyone besides Mr. Misham and Vera, were they the only ones?
Not a single one. Not a cat, nor a rat, even a mouse.
The only people who didn't belong to that studio there was you. Wasn't it, Mr. Brushel?
I know what you're thinking. I know your game. Attorney used classic Ramstem phenom play. End quote.
What does that even mean, dude? And I went to law school. You intend to suggest that the reporter's a suspect. I'm sure you also intend to present some proof of that, huh? In the meantime, let's move on. Okay, fine. Seem to be writing something. Quickly, seal the envelope. Yes, we have it. So he put the letter away when he saw you?
Early reporter gets worm, end quote. I showed up 30 minutes early. That's my secret.
That's, you know, I like to arrive on time. Not sure I follow.
It's the night of the interview. I arrive 15 minutes ahead of schedule.
Okay, that's a little more reasonable.
The handle turns, the door opens, I barge in, usually.
Are you sure that's okay to do? It's kind of unlawful entry, and it's also really rude. Which is more legal, you tell me.
Mr. Misham sure seems to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter in that yellow
envelope as fast as he could.
I don't stick her up when I see one.
Does seem significant. Should I add that? Yes, add the testimony. That's an easy one.
Why not?
You stupid, disgusting old man who's not even that old. The envelope is Are you colorblind? And just so happens there was a single letter in a desk at the drawer at the scene of the crime. And it's red, dude. Oh my God! Whoa! Despite that, Prosecutor Gavin! Are you seeing this, Apollo? What's going on? Let's see what I'll say. Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? I'd love to know. Unfortunately, no. But hair forehead. It's easy to mistake the color of an envelope, you know? I guess. But not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already 7 years ago. How does that disprove what Gavin said? I'm not even doing a character anymore. That just doesn't make it. What do you think, Brushel?
I can explain all that. Drew right when he wanted to get that letter in an envelope pronto. Get it out of sight, out of my beady eyes, right? He grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed it away. He put an envelope inside of another envelope. And what about the whole red and yellow contradiction? God.
Well, Justice, have you anything to say about witness's claim?
That night, the victim put a letter he had been writing in a red envelope. I mean, no, it's not possible. Let's analyze. Mr. Drew Misham. It's addressed to him,
No dice. That's impossible, I'm afraid. I like your expression. So full of confidence. It's simple, really. As it just so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope with, some help from someone. What? Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Misham. How? Man, it's so unfair that, like, the defense cannot also have... I mean, that's the whole point of the game, right? That it's, like, lopsided. But God, I guess the jury system does need to be implemented. This crap sucks. Why would he address a letter to himself? I mean, come on. Talking to yourself? Pretty crazy. Let alone send a suicide note to himself and not his daughter.
I've been scooped.
Shut up, Nat. All right. Enough of that. Brushel, explain.
Oh, my, how could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets old, forgets a lot, hey?
I'm still waiting for an explanation, you dumb nincompoop.
Well, that's the thing. After he put his own letter in the envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something.
He was looking in his drawer?
Yeah, for a stamp. Postage stamp. You ever heard of one? This does weird things.
Okay, why do you need it?
Well, to mail the letter, silly. What else? And then, why, yes, I think I saw him put his letter in a box. It was a yellow envelope. He put it in that box.
Really? That just sounds like a lie. Oh my God, that wasn't on screen for too long. Apparently this yellow letter has nothing to do with our case.
Oh, I wish it did. I really wish it did. Just think if it were a suicide note. What a story. Star. Writes suicide note in front of a reporter. Falls, end quote.
Dude, you're, oh my God, why they start the arc like this? Oh, I got a migraine. As I was saying, that has nothing to do with the case, okay? That said,
Yes, Your Honor. Do you need some ibuprofen?
it makes me wonder about the contents of that red envelope. What the heck's in that thing? Okay. We got another slide or something? Oh, let it dip to black. Okay, there's the other one. I'm not really reading it. I'm just, oh wait, I can read $100,000 though. That's a lot of money. Huh. Chump change for a TV personality like myself, but I digress.
So this was from 7 years ago. God, think of the inflation.
Sorry. My finance bros leaking through.
Am I finished here? I mean, I am finished here. I was thinking of, going home to start writing.
Achoo!
I don't know what Tracy's thing is.
Apparently mine is perspirating despite the lack of sleeves. I hate to state what I should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the scent of a story, you make that rather unique face. I don't even need my special magic bracelet to spell that out for me.
Come on. Attorney has active imagination, little else.
No, I mean, he's got hair gel products. He's got that going for him. Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't where they used to be, Sonny. I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff's about.
Judge has an active imagination. He's on your side, Apollo. Apollo, you're just he's so sassy. I just can't even. You gotta take the W's when they come, bro. Continue with your testimony and tell us about the scent of a story you got.
I'm the one asking the questions here.
He's just like a monster. I hate his guts. So nasty.
It's the rosy cheeks and the 5 o'clock shadow. You know what? That's what it is. That's actually the thing. You think rosy cheeks like that, it's, you little scamp. And then,
Took a bit.
It's not the giant smile that protrudes and invades your personal space. You'd think that'd be the issue. Guess not for this guy.
Took me a bit of work to get a thumbs up on the interview. Porter leverages story, gets his interview, end quote. Story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago. The red envelope probably has something to do with it. So what will you do? But Drew's talent was without
Debatable? I mean, he's a counterfeiter, right? Is that the word for it?
Half finished. Sketch is still visible. Found at the Drew studio. Notable for large plum in the foreground. I don't...
You threatened to go to the press with this story you got. That's how you got your interview, through blackmail? Okay. You think you're a big shot. Okay, all right, let's talk about it.
Well, yes. I mean, no, I'm not a big shot. I am not a megalomaniac. I wasn't exactly black.
Something wrong with you? You sure got a funny way of talking, young man.
Look, this is my story. My tidbit, journalist info is livelihood, end quote.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. You gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, we got them paparazzi, and I don't like them. They're always hounding me after the show. You know, we got cameras here. It's trying to get a daytime deal like Judge Judy.
What do you have me chatting away in here? What's going on out there? What if some Wally Wordsworth or Sally Scooper gets wind of my story? They could go get the press and I'm going to waste.
You gotta find another job, man. This is, Court feels your pain, Brushel. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace, all right?
Certain case 7 years ago. 7 years ago. Right. He looks right at Trucy. Okay, that's a hint. I can rock with that hint. Okay. Wait, the bracelet? Why? Story concerned case 7 years ago. Elaborate. A certain case? Tell me, what case? He's not gonna do that.
Let me say one thing, Mr. Durning. You can quote me on this. I can't talk about that case.
Why not? You're on the stand. And it pertains to the crime.
It's about journalism pride and stoutness and credibility and connections. Journalistic reveals sources only over his dead body. So what'll it be? You gotta strangle me dead?
It's like my 50th audible sigh. He sounds pretty determined not to talk. Guess we can't make him. Our choices are breaking his will, aren't looking good. Oh, buddy. All right, that didn't lead to anything. What you do? His talent was without compare. So says you. Just how amazing was Mr. Misham's talent?
Huh? Oh, man, I mean, he's a star, man, a star.
It's looking real weird right now. You notice that?
The flow of his brush is like a great undevolting river across the canvas. Artist paints lights up, studio like sun.
You like that for your story, huh? This guy's full of wacky gestures. But that one just now was wackier than usual. Looks kind of nervous to me, Apollo. Yes, magic bracelet time. God, it does not sound cool at all. I'm sensing something different than before here. Maybe it's time to defer. You know what? I think so too. I do not want to get closer to this guy's face, that's for sure. Let's check out the eyebrows. I feel like that might be it. Drew's talent. It's gotta be that, yeah? What the heck is that? Is he... Is that just a oh my god! Ew! Ew! What on... That is so gross! I was looking at that shadow and that's sadly relatable. You sure sweat a lot, Mr. Brushel.
Oh, yeah. He can't help his glands, you know.
It's more than that. Mr. Misham's talent was mentioned. You perspirated a little more than usual. Come on, Apollo.
That's not a crime, is it?
You're hiding something about this talent, aren't you?
That's ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Evidence time. Let's show him where Mr. Misham's true talent lied. Just so happen to have the evidence showing the talent mentioned in that letter. Wait, is this the definitive evidence that shows counterfeiting? Obtained it, Drew. Half finished. The rough sketch still visible. Well, not exactly. Close enough. F it. What do I gotta lose?
Can't help but wonder what court is supposed to conclude from this evidence.
Oh, great.
Then you're making a horrible mistake, man. Burns Bridge forgets to cross first.
Okay. Wait. The letter. Would it be the letter? I've deposited. Please send a receipt. Signed paper, send enclosed envelope. I need to remind you to speak. Okay, yeah, it's not. How do we get him on counterfeiting? I guess we could do the other one? It's another situation of the goddamn double vents in the last case. This painting was found at Mr. Misham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first is what isn't painted by it wasn't painted by Mr. Misham. The second is that there was another painting in the studio, which looked exactly like this one. Except it was only half done. Then we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000, which is a certain business operation. Are you seeing what I'm putting together? He's in the business of making forgeries, dude. And I guess you knew that. Otherwise, you wouldn't react that way. That is really weird. It's really funny, but it's him, so I don't want to dull out compliments. That's all, Your Honor. Mic drop. Boop. Let me actually drop a mic. Oh, God dang it. Why did I do that?
Everyone, please, everyone. Can we keep this private, please? This is my big story.
Forgery, that's a serious crime. Huh. Maybe he did kill himself, all that guilt. Oh, well, probably not.
Drew Misham is known as an artist these days, but there were rumors he dabbled in other kinds of works a few years back.
What you mean?
Misham was talented, all right, talented at making precise, detailed fakes, a fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover.
Really? What? Criminal elements? You can't seriously be talking about...
Exactly. I'm talking about forging evidence.
Oh my God.
The rumor started circulating 7 years ago.
7? Okay, you understand that this letter, this payment of $100,000 was for...
Exactly. Forged evidence. That's tidy profit. I think.
Well, that's like our victim was living a double life.
This is my chance. Come on. So the victim had ties to the criminal underworld, right? He could have plenty of enemies who knew we knew nothing about. Oh. It's my first time hearing of this criminal underworld. We certainly found no criminal connections when we conducted our investigations. What do you mean? We got a letter right here. It's so fishy. Frankly, it smells of scallops. I don't know. It's the first fish I could think. It's not even a fish. But how do you explain all the money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity. That's just that, a possibility. Well, there's no proof of tying this letter to our case. Our case was and remains simple from the beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned that mug that night. And you, of course.
Hey, the only thing I poison is my pen when I'm writing reviews.
That just flew on my goddamn head. What does he mean by that? You can't, you shouldn't eat ink. Whatever. Your testimony in this point's been quite unreliable. It doesn't speak well of your reporting acumen, I gotta say.
What are you talking about? My journalism's rock solid. Journalism's so solid. You can stand an elephant on it.
Okay, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. We can ascertain the situation in that studio from the recap. Trial's over, as far as I understand.
What's he talking about, Apollo? Cross-examination showed Mr. Brushell didn't have any reason for means to poison him, as long as there's no other suspect. The killer had to be Vera. That's what they think. His next testimony is our last chance.
Go. Now.
Okay, this is for all the marbles. What do you got, dude? Stupid effing smile.
Only person in the studio that night with the defendant. It was Vera who poured the coffee. She admitted it. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug. And nothing left the studio after he died. Nothing.
I just figured it out. There's a possibility that this mug touched, or no, the picture touched the mug. Think about it. How would that not be possible? Only think about the angle. Yep. Oh my God. Is that it?
We're the only one who could have poisoned him with his daughter.
Unless it wasn't. Dude, you can drink a mug a couple of different ways. It's precisely 360 degrees of contact. You'd have one tiny lip. Nice testimony. Clear, succinct, and without room for doubt.
Ah, shucks. You really think so? I should go pro.
Believe that clarifies the situation. Okay, Justice, you may begin your examination.
I still have one trump card left to play. Forging evidence. But that's bad, so I'm not going to do it. And I won't let this trial end until I use it. Oh, God. Some dissonance there.
No, Trusley doesn't forge evidence anymore. Okay? Just the one time, I guess.
The only person in the studio that night was the defendant. On that point, we agree. It was Vera who poured the coffee. She admitted it. I also agree. However, those are alternate facts. No, that's not going to work. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug. Okay. Now, it's going to sound crazy, but you're sure about that?
Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies all the time.
Of course you were. Weirdo. One of those candies might have been poison. Yet at the time of the autopsy, no fresh fragrances of mint filled the room. So no mint residue was found. It was a long shot anyway. Don't tell me you're still trying to prove this. You think the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than coffee?
Well, got any proof?
The possibility's there. I can feel it. Just maybe not prove it. The possibility isn't going to cut it, not now. Mr. Misham ingested poison via a route other than coffee. Yes! Perfect! Proof is possible. I gotta risk it.
Okay, let's see what you got. Show some evidence then.
If I was wrong about this, I'd be genuinely shocked. Here it comes. Oh no! No! He's shocking me with his electric guitar! Must I explain this over and over? We don't need possibilities here, hair forehead. We need some proof. I know that. You should also know that every proof has its moment. Perhaps you're a bit early on that one.
I can tell you what we know at this point. The victim's nothing to his mouth but that coffee mug.
Right. Another hole in this case that needs plugging before I can prove anything? First things first, I better uncover a weak spot before I try to strike again. Okay. The game's saying, yes, that's correlated, but genuinely nothing else touched his lips. If we're going by facts. And nothing left the studio after he died. Nothing. All right, statement 5. The only one who could have poisoned him was his daughter. I don't know about that. You say clearly as though it were obvious. But this claim that the defendant poisoned the victim is merely conjecture.
Yeah.
Oh, he's doing it again.
You see, in my business, it's all about making these most ridiculous things sound right. A bad habit, I know.
Why are you a defendant then?
Yeah, well, I guess this is more a case of ridiculous journalist sounds wrong.
Of course, forced to agree with you on that front. Please refrain from wild conjecture.
Understood, loud and clear.
If only I could believe that. When you think, Apollo, everything he's saying seems so not flawed. Well, that's kind of what you want from a testimony. I need to keep my eye on what matters. How and why was Drew Misham killed? Better pour the coffee. That's not going to change. But if that coffee didn't kill him, I need to find what did. God dang it, I know, but I don't know where to put it. It literally cannot be the first two statements. I guess we didn't press 3. Or no, that's 4. God, I can't count now. What's happening to me? Not one thing. You're sure?
Yep. Sure as she could be. Well, with one exception.
Okay, what'd you got?
Journalist Mark Brushel does interview, leaves studio. End quote. Technically, I left. Get it? Go Come on, it's a joke. Well, it's not a joke. It's actually fact. But get it?
Did something leave the studio that night and he's not being honest? Why does it sound familiar? Where have I heard something like that before? I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, we've proven our witness is a comedian of sorts. Asterisk. Like to turn our defense attorney before returning the testimony. Do you have an idea what, if anything, might left the studio?
Mailbox. It's empty. Is that not a possibility? I mean, that would... Didn't you say something about a yellow envelope? I actually didn't look at that. Not a thing? One thing. Let's just say it. I think one thing might very well have left the studio that night. A certain something that's vanished from the crime scene, in fact.
Oh, what you mean, Apollo?
Something
Other than our witness?
Of course. Don't tell me. Vera Misham? Oh, come on. Not her. Any comic relief I may provide is entirely unintentional. Same. I don't know. I don't think of jokes when I do these. They just fly out.
Let's see what you got for us, Justice.
This thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show it to you. But I do have evidence that shows it was taken. A frame measuring 2 inches. Tiny frame. And it's empty. Right? Because isn't that just the source of the poison? I'm gonna say it, dude. I'm feeling confident on that one.
You sure about that?
I find Prosecutor Gavin more amusing than this guy.
Is that comic relief? Why do I not feel amused?
The penalty!
Are you joking? Here goes my stand-up career. Oh, let me try again. What else could it be? Something left. It's gotta be the mailbox then. Right?
Oh God, I hope I don't get it wrong. I haven't saved it in a while.
This is the only link between that studio and the outside world.
Letterbox. Okay.
What did Mr. Brushel just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim just finished writing a letter.
Yeah, I said that. It's true.
Furthermore, you went in to tell us that he put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox. But that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night, the yellow envelope disappeared. Intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course, this changes... well, absolutely nothing.
Huh?
It's got a point, Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Misham. Is it really important that a mailman came by?
Well, if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio. That seems very important to me.
Okay, the witness will add that testimony then.
Got it.
Still think this fails to change anything, but whatever you say. Wouldn't be so sure a letter disappearing. That's gotta mean something. It's exactly the opening I need. Okay. A letter was in the post. Studio, I hardly think that matters. I'll be the judge of that. Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio, and you were hiding that fact from us.
Well, yeah, actually.
I don't argue the possibility that a letter disappeared from the studio, but hair forehead. Isn't there a much more serious question before us? Right, how Misham was poisoned, I know. Mr. Brushel's testimony was changed, which means the facts of the case have too. And what he told us means something entirely different now. I'm starting to think. Let's keep thinking, Apollo. Unless it's the goddamn thing that was in that frame, then I don't have to know. Okay. Oh my God. What?
A stamp? A poisonous stamp! Is that what we're doing? The only thing that touched his lips was that mug. He had to do some postage. No, he had to send it. It's not a stamp. The stamps are already sticky. You don't gotta lick the stamps. At least to my knowledge. But to seal the envelope, you gotta lick it. Wait, do we press here? Dang it, how do I say that? But we know it's not true. So we can press. Yeah. I have proof of the disappearing envelope.
I saw him writing a letter. I did.
Which was picked up by the mailman, I assume.
Of course. Which means that the envelope had a stamp on it.
A stamp? Oh.
As we all know, stamps come with dried glue on the back. In order to use the glue, you have to wet it. Okay. Mine don't do that. Guess it's a Japanese thing. By licking the stamp. I mean, you could also just lick, like a finger or something, or like a piece of paper. No, that's more. Would you say that in German? Ha. No one worth talking actually licks stamps in this day and age. Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead after all. What? Okay, so he licked the stamp. But wait, how does that explain the atroquinine on the rim of the coffee mug? If he licked the back of a poisoned stamp, the poison would get on his tongue. Yeah. What would then happen if you put the coffee mug to his mouth? Well played. The traces of the mug weren't the killer's doing. It's the other way around.
What? Oh my god. Oh my god.
The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Misham. Mr. Misham poisoned the mug!
I'm gonna be real. That's so satisfying to figure out. And everybody's seeing like a stamp, It's not, did you know how the piano is played poorly? Dog, I'm so mad about that, sorry. Does that make any sense?
Recall if you would. Atroquinine is a slow-acting poison, yes. Poison entered his body when he put the stamp on that envelope. But his time wasn't up until the moment he touched his lips to that cup of joe. Right. It's slow-acting. We got it. Dang. It only took me like 4 continues.
It is the final boss, I guess. God, this gotta be the final boss. Can you imagine? You got something to add, Russell?
His nose is picking up another scent. Oh god, here we go.
As I believe I mentioned earlier. Well, that's the thing. If he put his letter in the envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. A stamp.
Oh.
But I don't think I remember him finding one.
Maybe he just ran out.
Incidentally, we searched the desk drawer at the scene of the crime. There were no stamps to be heard. Well, it's not like you can hear a stamp. Not a single one.
That poses a problem. How you prove that stamp was coated with poison?
Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. Makes proving the stamp he used was poisoned possible. Good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp in the first place.
Well, let's see what you got to say about that. Where's your evidence that proves the existence of a poison stamp?
Well, I mean, that is stamp-shaped, I guess.
Can't believe I'm doing this. Well, that certainly is a cute little picture frame. Oh my god, it's so tiny. Miniature even. Yeah, it's real little.
It was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself. Noticed that too during my inspection. So what? Apparently you weren't as observant as you should have been, Gavin. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important.
Missing?
A pale bluish stain on the inside of the frame. Atroquinine residue. What? Why wasn't I told about this?
You gotta do your own legwork, buddy. Can't have everybody doing everything for you.
The frame is only 2-inch square. The face of the frame is even smaller, maybe an inch wide at most. You aren't saying. Oh yeah, I'm saying it. But I am. What fits in such a small frame? A commemorative stamp. Dang.
Stamp collecting kills you. All right, that's newsworthy, right, Brussel? Probably not. Anyway, the poison stamp was in the frame. I heard of poison swamps. Poison stamps? I ain't got some of the same letters. Isn't that funny? No? All right, I'll work on it.
Impossible.
No, I'm funny sometimes. I want to go that far, Gavin.
Why would he put something like that on his desk? Don't tell me he had it there so he could commit suicide if the mood struck.
I don't know, Dad.
That face.
Can I say something? I had a thought.
Oh, stop jittering and just talk.
The victim was a forger, right? There's a lot of money in that line of work. Forge his friends. Makes enemies too. Yeah.
So the poison stamp might have been a murder weapon? Aimed at him?
Now we're all over the place. I'm yet again on the prosecution side. I feel like the worst of these games.
Oh, Rich. That's rich. Leave the ridiculous flights of fancy to the Governor song lyrics, please. Advertising, middle of a courtroom. God, self-absorbed. Finally something we agree on. The stamp was a murder weapon. Absolute nonsense. Murder's a simple business. Who'd go to such lengths? No one. Oh, I disagree entirely. You do? Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. Oh my god, that's because he had enemies? Dude, Drew Misham hid from the world. He avoided meetings. His only contact with the outside world was the mail. And people knew that. Now, if you wanted to kill someone you couldn't meet, but you knew red letters, a stamp would be the perfect weapon.
His hand's already on the wall.
Ridiculous. Where's your proof? I want some proof. Show us evidence this poison stamp was sent to him as a murder. God, prosecuting in this world is so easy. What do you even do, Gavin? All right, might not have evidence per se. Things are finally starting to come together. What is it, Apollo? Your fists are trembling. I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I think I know how Mr. Misham was killed.
Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice.
A certain piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor.
I can show you someone with the intent to kill?
What? I can show you how someone with the intent to kill sent me.
That's the envelope. Even though I genuinely don't know how. Isn't this the envelope from 7 years ago? What's that got to do with this?
Think about the text on the letter again.
Okay. Mister, oh, you're not going to let me read it? You're going to talk over me? Okay.
There were 2 pages in the envelope. This is page 1. And on the back, sign the papers and send. Oh my god. An enclosed stamp. Dude, I want to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. A specific stamp. That's how they did. It couldn't have been Vera.
In other words, if I have this straight, the stamp poison on the stamp. Lick it, yeah.
Never say those words ever again. Now, what if he had done exactly as the letter asked? He would sign the document. Yeah, I'd put it in the box. 15 minutes would have elapsed between affixing the stamp and mailing the letter. The clock started ticking, and when the time came, he drew his last breath, and the murder weapon would be taken away from the scene.
Oh, that's quite conveniently thanks to the postal system.
Okay, so it's probably not Vera. Can we just agree with that? Like, I mean, it's looking pretty good for her. I don't know. Such a splendid imagination you have. Thanks. Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So the poison stamp was inside the envelope from 7 years ago, yeah? Is that what you have us believe? Really? Well, yeah. It's a little bit of a stretch, but I mean, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder? Stamp size? A poison stamp in this envelope. A stamp that then became the murder weapon. How do you intend to prove this seeming coincidence? Well, it was 7 years ago. We don't even know who sent that letter. Your answer is silence. I see very well. I'd move to. It's not nice to pick on Freyloin Clavier? Oh my. What was that? Emma! That long hair of yours. In the sun it looked blonde. Well, like my Kristav Gavin impression. I sound like him. Oh, thank God. Sight for sore eyes. Get that freaking weirdo out of here. Don't quit your day job. Your impressions aren't that good, man. I think you mean miss. Oh, yeah, sorry. Don't you have a crime scene to be looking after, Freyloin detective? Someone had to come dig you out of the mess you're making of this case. Me? No! None of this would happen. You just trusted in science a little more. You can find out if that stamp was in the envelope. Easy. Care to explain, Freyloin detective? Glare at me all you want. Science is on my side. It's all in the residue, right? That's right, the poison detection spray. But we can't open the letter.
Produce that at once. You can open it. I think it's fine. Okay.
Wait, it's on the... It should be... Where the dump is it? Is it really not here? There it is. Gotcha. So we got it. We finally have some tangible evidence.
Oh, I love when a plan comes together. Would you look at that?
No mistaking it. That's atroquine residue. I know it anywhere. By the way, I'm only a detective. Imagine if I was on forensics. It's just like trying to get a promotion.
I don't believe it. A murder weapon from the past. Now, 7 years later, it bears its fangs.
It's all looking good for you, Gavin. Absolutely outrageous. Tell me why. Tell me why there's atroquine. Why did this murder take place 7 years ago then, huh? Well, there's one possibility. Maybe Mr. Misham figured it out.
Figure what?
He realized that the person who sent that letter wanted him dead, so he sent his reply with a different stamp.
But his decisive evidence in a frame? Why would he do that? I'd throw it in the trash. Wait, you're still here, you bizarro freak?
Can I make a statement? Hey, Spark, raise your toothbrush. I'll claim the scoop is as mine. Drew Misham, killed in cold blood. By sender of 7-year-old letter. Now, maybe something more succinct. Star falls after 7-year delay.
It is a good title, you gotta admit. I see no room for further argument. Though I admit this all coming as quite a shock to think the murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 long years. Stamp, his ticket straight to afterlife. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Oh no, he's doing it now. Oh no, stop, end quote. I think the witness is a bad influence. On everyone, God.
Well, what we still doing here, y'all? I ain't got nothing done. The sender of that letter 7 years ago could hardly have been our defendant. I mean, she'd be like, what? Friggin' 12? Shoot.
I think we just won, Trucy.
Nah, man, it's Ace Attorney. You're gonna be here a minute. Let's be real. This court finds the defendant.
Is this the bright future of our legal system?
Gavin?
A ticket to the afterlife from 7 years ago? Tickets from Gaviner's shows are invalid after 2 weeks.
That's not a good deal. Well, I guess it is only one day. I don't know. That's fair, I guess. I'm a good judge good deal. Doesn't make sense any other way.
Boggles my mind that so many people haven't noticed this. There's a fatal contradiction in Herr Forehead's claim. Really? The poison stamp was placed in the envelope 7 years ago, whereupon it was framed. Until now. If that's the case, then why would Drew Misham have done what he did? Oh, right. He must have realized it was poison and then licked it? Come on. Therein lies the rub. 7 years ago, the forger Drew Misham sensed a trap. Put the stamp in a frame? I do not debate this. This begs the question. Why 7 years later did he use the stamp on the night of the murder?
He was getting up in the age and you got your wits about you at 50.
Surely you don't mean to suggest Mr. Misham simply forgot about the poisonous stamp. He put the murder weapon in a frame on his desk for 7 years and just forgot about it? He'd see it every day. You expect us to believe he sprung the trap on himself? Get real. Yeah. Oh, God. We gotta drag it out for more episodes, baby!
I'm alright with it, though. As long as Russell kicks the rocks. Well, I admit this is all quite shocking. It does seem highly unlikely that he would fall a fool for a trap or a foul. It's been sitting on his desk for 7 years. It's like if I died by my own hammer. How's that even happen?
I don't think we're winning anymore, Trucy. I'm glad to see we're all back in the real world now. Welcome back to reality. We've been waiting for you.
Can't object to that.
How do you explain the poison stamp that was in the envelope? Well, the poison stamp? What exactly is the poison stamp again? Have you brought it to the court for us? There's no way I can track down that letter, excuse me? I see no proof that it even exists. Could have been anything. What about the atroquinine residue? I guess. That does seem to be atroquine residue. But hair forehead, it's certainly no stamp. You are such a butt. Even if your precious poison stamp did exist, Drew Misham never would have used it. That's all. I don't get it. I actually don't get it.
I believe we come to a conclusion again that no one can agree on goddamn anything. Why is it always like this?
Were we wrong the whole time, Apollo? I can't believe it. The poison traces match up. It can't be a coincidence. But it technically could be something else. God.
I'd like to bring some closure to the issue sometime this year, if that's all right. God, how long this playthrough been going on? Shoot. Well, guess not too long. Justice?
Yeah?
Let's review the facts and see what we got. 7 years ago, Drew Misham received a red envelope. There were traces of the poison on it, okay? Some trace was also found at the crime scene, and this tiny little picture frame. The defense has indicated the possibility of a yellow envelope that we just ain't got, and the envelope that left the scene of the crime. As it were.
But even if this envelope contained poison stamp, Drew Misham knowing this, put it in a frame. He'd never have used that stamp.
Yeah, I think you're right. Which means there's a fatal flaw in the defense case.
Have I been on the wrong track this whole time? Traces of atroquinine, the envelope, the frame, and Drew Misham's. It's really hard not to call him Misham a mysterious death. They're all connected somehow.
Well, you got any ideas? More fantasies of flame fancy?
The defense stands by its case, Your Honor. We've seen that logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense, which means that one of our clues must be fake. Which one? Fascinating. And if we find this fake, your wild fantasies will prove quite reasonable, yeah? The fake clue that's shown us off the poison... Drew? The fake clue that's thrown us off the poison trail. No, Drew would have to lick the stamp. These are right... I don't know. I feel like these are correct, though. Drew Misham. What could be wrong about him? Poisoned at Drew's studio. I don't get it.
YOLO? The victim's a fake clue. Yeah, ain't making no goddamn sense.
I'll explain. We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug. Linked by poison. That all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself.
I effed up. God dang it.
Congratulations, you're completely lost me. So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fake himself, the forger? Makes a good story, I'll give you that. Yeah!
The fake clue. Fakes. Forgeries.
What if he's not dead?
I know that face. It's just an idea face.
I don't know if I'm right. I'm gonna find... No, he is dead. They did an autopsy, but...
I'm going with it anyway.
Okay, never mind. I don't know where we're going, but we're going!
What if our forger is the fake?
Huh? Come again?
7 years ago, our forger sniffed a trap and stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbles into the very same trap and dies? Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Because the forger who was killed was a fake.
Here we go again. The victim was a fake?
Yes. One forger smelled the trap. One forger fell into the trap.
That's two forgers. Wait. Two forgers?
And one of them was fake.
Hold up. Hold up. What is the envelope? What is it? Mr. Drew Misham. Sign the... Are they saying what I'm saying? What I think they're saying? It's not two Mishams, but it is two Mishams. Oh my God! How does Vera come into this? I don't get it. Did she put the stamp there?
Order! Oh my God, what is happening?
So you telling us that Drew Misham, the victim, was a fake? Well, if he was the fake, it was the real forger. You better not be claiming there was some kind of switcheroo.
Afraid you're gonna have to back up your story with some facts, bud. Show us just who the real Drew Misham was.
What? It was an alias?
If Drew Misham wasn't the real forger, there's only one other person it could be. I gotcha. Forger Drew Misham was himself a forger. And the real one was his daughter. She's a prodigy. And forcing her to do illicit deeds. There can only be one explanation. The real identity of the forger, known as Drew Misham, is none other than his only daughter, Vera Misham!
Get him. Oh, we back. I stumbled, but I got up. Then I fell down a cliff, but I got up. I fell into the Mariana Trench, but I got that scuba suit, baby!
You'd still die from the pressure. Justice, this is getting outlandish. I think we can all agree, even for you.
I kind of agree. Vera a forger? I mean, she's so nice and so cute. Let's consider it before you write it off entirely. If you look at the painting in that studio, one fact becomes quite clear. Forgery has been taking place in that studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in that trap 7 years ago. This can only mean that the one who was caught in the trap wasn't the forger.
God dang, all this talk of forges. Okay, then does that make a certain kind... It makes sense, I guess.
One more thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger's studio. Drew Misham's and Vera Misham's.
Okay.
If we know that Drew Misham wasn't the forger, that leaves only one possibility. By process of elimination, the forger was Vera Misham.
Well, what do you think? How'd I do? Pretty good, right? Yeah. What does that exactly solve, though?
I don't know. Don't know myself.
Fascinating stuff. Okay. We're not so bad at this. She's just so doll-like. You know what I mean? It's kind of creepy, actually. She's got some fans, but
Misham. Is it true your name's actually Drew? Like, you've been paying attention to the trial, right?
Let's just ask her and be done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger? Drew Misham? I take it back. She's adorable.
No. What's an expression of emotion? That's the first expression of emotion I saw on her face. She's staring holes in the prosecutor Gavin's face.
Is it something I said? I'm used to being stared at by Freyloins, believe me. Though they usually talk to me, or at least try to. Tell us, were you the one who forged those works of art? Yes. Okay.
So the forger Drew Misham was actually you. What even is that?
It was me.
Oh, it's a little frowny face. He's got one singular tear. Okay, I see it. Huh, that's not bad. Wait, what? You committed a crime? Oh my god. That was crazy.
The court was in an uproar. It wasn't coming down. He had a break for a 10-minute recess. Oh, come on!